Brass Mystery. This is our first production here at Battleground Productions. So happy that so many of you decided to come out and share a little bit of holiday festivity fun with us. Speaking of holiday festivity fun, if we can make sure that there is nothing coming out of your cell phones for a little bit of time, that would be great, unless we've got like a holiday jingle on here, your ringtone, because everyone loves to hear that. So, what else can I tell you? The show's about 100 minutes long, and there's a 10-minute intermission about halfway through. I think that's about it. Enjoy the show.
Forgive me, madam. I had understood that the gentleman would be staying in the Venetian suite.
Oh, that had been planned. We would have 2 additional guests.
Oh.
I've just had a telegram that we are to expect the imminent arrival of 2 ladies, and they shall be staying in the Venetian room instead.
Very well. The Chinese room is somewhat...
uncomfortable, yes. See if you can't pry open the window and let a little air into it. And failing that, see if you can't find some way to turn the heat down.
I will do my best, madam. The radiator is somewhat faulty, and the Chinese room's proximity to the furnace is...
Oh, is regrettable, yes. Oh, Tompkins, you've been doing a yeoman's work all year. And I'm so sorry that with this change in our finances, I have been forced to lay off most of the help. I wish there was some way I could reward you other than just a thank you for this holiday.
Don't trouble yourself, madam. Since Sir Ashford's unfortunate passing, we have all been forced to tighten our belts, and at such times I am deeply aware that though Mabel, Thomas, Cook, and I live below stairs, and you above, we are related in both fortune and affection.
That is an estimable sentiment, and I am deeply grateful for your loyalty at this difficult time.
And if I might suggest again, madam, that were you to allow me to dip into my own savings...
I will not, but thank you. It is shameful enough that I am unable to pay your wages, and even more shameful that... Oh, gosh, that you have not received an increase in over 2 years. My late husband, as we both know, is a ninny with finances. I can scarcely manage to pay the debts that he accrued.
Very well, but my offer remains, as do I.
Oh, that is a blessing. Perhaps we can hope that with Sir Covey's arrival, it will not change the fortunes of everyone in the household.
Mother!
Oh, yes, dear.
Mother, Mabel has informed me that Wayne and Sir Percy are to have to bunk in the Chinese room.
I'll see to it, madam.
Regrettably, yes.
But the room's a sauna. They'll be boiled like lobsters by the end of the weekend.
No, it can't be helped. The quayside room was never recovered from the pipes bursting, and we can't open the tapestry rooms. We sold the tapestry last year, which leaves that large, big, awful space on the wall.
But what of the Venetian room?
I was going to mention that at breakfast.
I breakfast, Mother, she will know.
Well, I keep hoping. My dear, you are far too thin to be indulging in these bad diets.
Skipping the occasional breakfast is hardly a diet.
Well, in any case, we are expecting 2 visitors this weekend.
What? Who? Why? When?
One interrogative at a time, darling.
Mother, my fiancé is coming this weekend, and I am hoping that he's finally going to name the date for our wedding.
Oh, well, our visitors are hardly strangers.
Certainly aren't family.
Oh, but in fact they are.
What? Who?
Your aunt and your cousin.
Aunt which cousin?
Madeline Brass, her daughter, Wendy.
Oh, Mother, I do not wish to shock you, but dear Aunt Madeline and Cousin Gwendolyn are dead.
I know. Isn't that exciting?
I'm sorry.
Well, I haven't seen either of them in simply ages.
No one has. Except the angels.
Oh, nonsense, my dear. They've been spending time with all sorts of fascinating people.
You mean in the other place?
The other place?
I am sure it has some fascinating people.
Honestly, Cynthia, half the time you're speaking, you make no sense at all.
Mother, are you expecting the spirits of our dearly departed relations to be taking up residence in the Venetian room?
Of course not. But they're not dead, you silly girl.
How can you say that? We attended their funeral 3 months ago. They had a tremendously large bomb dropped on their house by a renegade airship. It leveled the entire street.
Yes, that's all very true.
It's only because they evacuated all their neighbors that the loss of life wasn't greater.
You're right. They're awfully nice people.
Yes, they were.
Ah, Cynthia, oh, you are so young. This is not the first time that your aunt has been presumed dead.
It isn't?
No, even before she met Benjamin, my dear sister was presumed dead on 2 separate occasions. Ah, espionage. Such a queer line of work.
So you're saying that Gwendolyn and her mother survived?
They all did. Somehow or another, you'll just have to ask them later on.
Mother, we cannot possibly host a consulting detective and her adventurous daughter in this household tonight.
Cynthia, I'm surprised at you. They are family. And as you mentioned, the house blew up.
It didn't blow up. It was blown up.
Well, it was demolished in any case.
By a whacking big bomb dropped out of an airship.
That's right.
By people who wanted them dead.
Cynthia, they are family, and we are not going to turn them out.
Have you at least told the staff?
I have told Tompkins and Mabel that they are to expect guests. But they shall be arriving. Assumed identities. I don't know. Madeline, no doubt, will improvise something frightfully clever. Oh, it's so exciting to have them come.
Oh, I don't want exciting. I want a wedding.
My dear, it is obvious to everyone that Sir Wayne Coverley is mad for you and plans to make you his wife.
But Wayne.
Oh, why must you be so impatient?
Because we need the marriage. Obviously, I feel all sorts of sentiments towards Wayne, but let us be honest, dear mother, we're broke. And he still puts me off when I suggest a wedding date, and our courtship is heading toward an annual event.
Perhaps this weekend.
No perhaps about it. If Wayne shall not agree to setting a date, then I shall be forced to... Oh, dear!
What is it, dear child?
I'll be forced to send him away. And I don't want to do that. I love Wayne. I can't imagine loving any other man.
That's nice. yourself look alluring.
Oh, Mother, I do so love Wayne.
Who is it, Tompkins?
A Frau Geffer and a
Her loving Wort, Heidi. Es liebt und Station Heidi.
Thank you, Tompkins.
God, Doctor, when we decide that, I thought it was your ward.
You just said I am train station Heidi and Joe.
What is it? I hate that name. Really? Not to mention their costumes.
Gwendolyn. Oh, Madeline. So lovely to see you, my dears.
Really, Constance, there is little use in us wearing disguises if you don't use our assumed names.
Of course, Fräulein Gwendolyn. And Heidi. You look so precious with long hair.
Thank you, Aunt Constance.
Gwendolyn!
Sorry, Lady Ashford.
Where have you wished to stay, Constance?
In the Venetian room at Star.
I remember. I'll be right back. I must check its security.
Security?
Please excuse Mother. She's not slept in nearly 3 days, and she's cold and in an awful temper. Oh, it got worse at the station when an older gentleman pushed past us and snagged the last cab just as we were about to get in. I swear Mother nearly shot him. We had to wait nearly half an hour for the next to bring us out here, giving her more time to fret.
About what?
She's convinced that we're being followed.
By who?
Agents of the man who blew our house up. We were in a safe house in Leicester, you see, until Mother became convinced it was being watched. So 2 days ago, she chose things, identities, and we began this elaborate crisscross trek about the country.
Oh dear. We're not in for another repeat performance from some of your enemies. I'm rather fond of
You listen, don't worry, Aunt.
But if she
Yes, Mother is a formidable detective, but right now she's not making much in the way of sense. I've not seen any sign that we are being pursued, and as to these costumes, well, they don't particularly blend in.
Well, no. Where is your father and your brother?
Also in disguise and headed for the continent. We rendezvous with them in the new year.
Do you think she needs to talk?
Above all, she needs to rest. My mother's extraordinary brain's been going full bore for months now. Like a locomotive being pushed past its limits, it's showing some strain. If she could have 2 or 3 days without incident, mystery, or adventure, it would be an invaluable rest cure.
Oh, we can offer that. Oh, but your dear cousin does have a tendency to dramatize our lives. Oh, little of interest happens out here in glancing bright.
Thank you, dear aunt. With luck, Mother will head straight to bed after dinner this evening.
The room is suitable, Constance. However, I will need a hammer and 4 nails to secure the window shutters. Now, what's this about other lists?
Oh, yes. Cynthia's fiancé, Sir Wayne Coverley, and his college chum.
You said college chum is...
Possibly here now.
Sir Wayne Coverley and Sir Percy Wentworth.
Dear Wayne, sweet boy.
Dear Lady Ashford.
And his friend.
Percy Wentworth, Lady Ashford. I've heard such awfully lovely things about you.
It is so disappointing to discover that one has a good reputation. Gentlemen, these are my friends. This Fräulein and her daughter.
And what?
Heidi.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance. Lady Ashford and I are old schoolmates, having met during the year in Heidelberg. I and Heidi found ourselves for some days this school season, and so she had thought to host. We hope to partake in much seasonal gaiety.
And you are German.
Yeah.
Splendid. I was at school in Vienna for a year. Ich denke, Deutsch ist eine Schussgraf. I spent 3 months in Munich. All I remember is gallons of beer and ein schonigen See. I'm not even sure what that means.
I need to practice my English.
Lady Ashford, where is Cynthia?
Oh, she's just getting changed. She'll be out in a moment. Oh, my dear, you must call me Constance.
Oh, I keep forgetting. Constance, yes. You know, Percy, it's so easy for me to already think of these lovely people as my family. Good Lord. If I thought of you people as my family, I'd be out the door in a flash.
Are you not close with your family, Sir Percy?
No closer than a country mile, if I can possibly help it, Lady Ashford. But the worst of it is we Wentworths are everywhere. I seem to have no shortage of aunts, uncles, and cousins who persist in popping in on me in the most appalling circumstances.
And your parents?
My parents? Like contemporary mural. My parents are best enjoyed at a considerable distance, if they are to be enjoyed at all.
Oh, come, Percy. His relations are quite acceptable. That one uncle I met of yours this summer was right.
Or near right by the time we left the restaurant.
He grew a little free with the after-dinner port.
The port, the gin, the scotch, the schnapps. Do you drink schnapps, Fraulein Hyde?
Well, that depends on who is Sir Percy.
Oh, Percy, we could not wish for better acquaintances to be spending Christmas with. Indeed.
Well, I'm so grateful to your hospitality, taking in some of Wayne's. So I was all alone this one day.
Oh, dear.
There's the parental unit on Trieste. I think. Or was it Hertfordshire? Wait, neither of those sound right. Is there a place called Triestershire?
I don't think so, no.
Well, it's one or the other, then. And then there, when Wayne here said I could come and meet not only the woman who captured his heart, but her family. And acquaintances. Well, there was no stopping me.
Might I ask what is in your box, Sir Percy?
My box?
The one you are holding.
Oh, this isn't my box.
No?
No, I haven't the slightest idea what's in this box.
Why are you holding it?
I'm afraid I'm to blame for that, Fraulein. You see, I asked Percy to safeguard this box on our journey from London without telling him what was in it.
Oh, you didn't ask?
I didn't think to.
What's in this box, I hope, is my future happiness. The legacy of my family and the legacy of the family I hope to have.
Oh, Mother! Is that Wayne?
It is, my dear, as well as our friends, the Grecians.
Yes, she's my mother.
A random assorted golfers?
Yes.
Oh, Wayne, darling, I've missed you so.
And I you, dearest. And this is my chum, Percy.
Hello, Percy.
Goodness. If I knew I was to be surrounded with such incredible beauty this holiday. Well, I wouldn't have given my man Grimsby the weekend with his family. Whatever will you think when you see me in the same waistcoat at 2 concurrent meals?
We shall avert our gaze from your midsection.
Madam, dinner is served.
Oh, gentlemen, your timing couldn't be better. Let's see what the cook has put out for us.
Heidi! Oh! I do not trust our new guests.
Why ever not?
Totally, I don't trust anyone. What's in that box of Sir Caralynn that went with Chuck County as soon as he sees
Oh, Mother, well, I really think that Sir Percy is a nice piece of furniture. I suspect there's not a lot in his drawers.
Gwendolyn Ross!
No, I didn't mean it like that, but I meant to.
Oh, what a splendid dinner. Oh, has cook left with Mabel for the evening?
She's staying in to prepare for tomorrow.
Well, please thank her for me.
I always do, madam.
Quite delicious. What was that dessert called again?
A blancmange.
Blancmange. Goodness. And who would have thought the French could come up with something like that?
Oh, quite surprising to find an English cook so well versed in continental desserts.
I don't know why, but cook has been outdoing herself lately. She wasn't best adequate when I hired her 2 years ago, and the past 3 months, she's been whipping up some splendid repasts. Do you have any idea why, Tompkins?
I believe a certain romantic attachment.
Oh no, that's dreadful. We'll never be able to keep her. Once a cook tastes the fruits of love, she eventually loses her joy for cooking for anyone other than her fellow.
I'm sure that's not always true.
Oh, I'm afraid it is, old chap. Nothing ruins an exemplary serving more than following in love. That's why my man Grimsby's so dependable. You see, he's old, he's pharaoh. He has a face like a dyspeptic bulldog.
Oh, but love sees beauty where others cannot, Sir Percy.
I probably won't, my dear Cynthia. Though, where there is true beauty, love can do little but admire its perfection.
Yes. I say, this Christmas tree must make you feel right at home, shouldn't it?
Nein.
Well, it's a tradition from your country.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, of course. Very jolly indeed.
You know, it was a recent addition to our family, and at first not a very successful one.
What do you mean?
When my brother and I were children and our sister was a mere tot, Mother and Father called us into the parlor one Christmas Eve. Father had just returned from Vienna, where he had learned of a quaint but little-known tradition. And there on the table was the first Christmas tree that I had ever seen. It was so beautiful. Gold, silver candles, and strings of cranberries and popcorn. Oh, and my brother's eyes flew to the candy canes and the sweeties tied within the boughs. But my little sister had a different reaction.
Which was?
She wanted to know where it had come from and what was its purpose. My parents told her it came from the merry Kris Kringle, and its purpose was to bring Christmas cheer into our home. And she
Ridiculous!
You know the story as well, Grant?
Yeah! Lady Ashford has a habit of repeating herself.
So she wasn't willing to participate in the welcome romance of Christmas?
No. In fact, the following Christmas, she said that if a tree appeared, she would stay up all night and keep her eye on the parlor to guard against any intrusion from the mysterious Kris Kringle.
And did she?
I don't know. That was the last time we ever had a tree in our parlor. And I didn't get another until I married my dear Edward, and we set up our home. Yeah.
And in your home, you are welcome to partake in whatever erratic superstitions bring you contentment. Even leaving food for your imaginary Yuletide fairy or dangling hosiery from the chimney, a potential fire hazard.
Is there a child in the house, Lady Ashford?
No, not now. Cynthia's grown into a young lady. But like mince pies and a tot of whiskey, we still enjoy its traditional place above the hearth as a seasonal decoration.
You know, maybe you'll think Nick drop something in there while we're all asleep.
That box is exquisite, Sir Caralynn.
It is, isn't it? Made by my Uncle Simon, a lovable rascal, jack of all trades, carpentry, horticulture, conjuring.
He's now in the play. Except perhaps for picking horses. I lost 20 quid on his last tip.
Well, he has a few vices as well, but he's been the guardian of what's been in this box since my father's death.
Please do tell us what it is.
Yes. I think it's time. Everyone, as you all know, I have been courting Cynthia for longer than either of us have wished. Up to now, however, we have not formally acknowledged this. But tonight, we shall. You see, before I set our wedding date, I wanted to feel I could stand on my own 2 feet as an adult, a man with a career and the means to provide for a family. Now that I've been accepted to Chambers, tonight we shall take our place in our family's history. For 8 generations, it has been the tradition in the Catholic family for the firstborn son to give this cashmere sapphire, our greatest treasure, to his intended. Tonight, I wish to make it official before this assemblage of friends. Cynthia, my darling, my dearest, you have been so patient. You know, from the moment we locked eyes on that fortuitous day along the river Cam, I knew that I was made for you and you for me. I desired you as I never have anyone or anything in my life, and yearned to take you in my arms at that moment. Of course, calmer and more proper thoughts quelled my temperament, and from that moment to this you have treated no more than the most chaste and chaperoned of kisses and holding of hands. For months now we had nothing but letters and tokens to assure each other of our love and passion for each other. But tonight, I give you not token, but a surety. Cynthia, will you consent to make...
Tompkins, the generator?
I expect so, madam.
Oh!
anyone.
Are you sure?
A single set of even footprints in the snow leading from just beneath this window out into the woods.
I followed them from beneath the window to the woods where they ended.
Did you see anything?
Trees. Somewhere. It was quite dark.
You searched your room.
Twice.
All the doors to the house are locked.
The coal cellar doors were cleared of snow that the blood apples they got in to begin with.
What do you remember, Sir Caralynn?
Nothing really. The moment after the lights went out, someone slammed the lid of the case down, pinching my finger. Then they opened the window and out they went.
Was she, unlike from the footprints?
Wait, but it's so dreadful that this should happen in our home.
It's rather like Woodhouse. Was that sure by any chance?
I've no idea. It may be. I'll have to ask my uncle. Tompkins, we must alert the police.
Ladies, hurry, please. Do not contradict any of what I'm about to say. Now. Lady Ashford, this is most catastrophic. Just think, a theft like this in your home. How very unusual, and what a cunning and accomplished rogue to manage such a deft crime with such ingenuity. I would advise we have extra precautions to our security this evening. All windows to all rooms should be locked and if possible shuttered, same as the coal cellar doors. Despite this unfortunate event, we can thank Providence that the star of Rajapur is still safe.
God.
What's that?
My goodness, Sir Caralynn, have you not heard of the star of Rajapur?
Yeah.
And you?
So, Rosie?
Well, I once had a delightful conversation with an Egyptian belly dancer named something like that.
This is not a woman, but a diamond. A very large and intriguingly flowered stone. Its colour is that of a golden star, slightly larger than your elegant stick pin, Sir Caralynn.
This is merely coloured glass, a gift from my father. It has no value.
Whereas the star of Rajapur is of great value indeed. It was stolen from a stronghold of the Tugi cultists in Bombay, where it once decorated the left eye of the fearsome goddess Kali.
Gracious, by whom?
By our great-great-great-uncle Theodore de Prague, known to his troops as Mad Dog.
He had troops. Goodness.
You see, my friends, the Ashfords have their own legacy. The star is not only of immense value, it is able to bring wisdom and holiness to its owner.
My word. Shall we check to see if it's safe?
Oh, there's no need for company, for it is here amongst us. There it is.
Are you sure? That looks a bit chintzy, doesn't it?
Indeed. The diamond is set in a purposefully unassuming decoration precisely to deter theft. But truly it has worked, for while our cunning thief has escaped with one gem, he has completely overlooked as greater prize.
That's fortunate, but shouldn't we now move it into safekeeping?
Of course not, Sir Caralynn, but that could well open the opportunity for something to happen to it. No, we should leave it atop the tree at least for tonight. Once we have alerted the police as to the theft of your gem, then we can place this one into their protective custody. Now, I see no reason for us to continue our inquiry into this until morning when we can send for the constabulary.
I did not send for them now.
Oh, it doesn't any use in that at this point. No, what's needed now is a good night's rest so that we can all approach this problem with a cool head in the morning. Don't you agree, Lady Ashford?
Whatever you say, child, Richard.
Yep. Very good. Well, since there's nothing more to be done, I suggest we all go now to bed. We'll deal with the situation with the benefit of a good night's sleep.
But I must cable my uncle.
And surely the police.
That can all be till morning. Until then, everyone should go now to your rooms.
Our rooms? Shouldn't we at least give the grounds another look?
Yes, that seems
You
sensible.
cannot just order everyone to leave. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not due to have a meeting about it this time, there's nothing more to be done. It is late. Off to your rooms and lock your doors. I shall be coming through for an inspection in 10 minutes.
What are you doing?
Preparing to catch a thief.
What is called?
Hurriedly.
The footprints through the snow.
I suspect an accomplice.
Why?
Think. I must have known not only about the gem, but that it would be presented this evening. Now, it is possible that he followed Sir Caralynn down to glancing right in anticipation of the opportunity, though if doing so, why wait to steal the gem in front of a room full of witnesses? What could be the purpose? Therefore, I suspect that the thief was someone in this very room, and I'm not ruling out anyone but you, my dear. What's more, is it coincidence that this thief should come here at the very time that we are being pursued by enemies intent on our destruction? Of course not.
Your
for everyone they pick up.
All right, Mother. What's your plan?
Don't move. Turn around. Every heavens.
Good evening.
Let me guess. You're Chris Creamer.
No, I'm Father Christmas.
Father Christmas.
You're not going to shoot Father Christmas, are you?
If he makes a false move, I might.
Ah,
So, you're after the Star of Rochefort.
I'm sorry.
Price's gem at the top of the Christmas tree.
My dear, that isn't a priceless gem. You could have one exactly like it for a few pence from Selfridges.
Is that so?
Of course it is. And I'm not after anything except for that tot of whiskey and one of those tasty mince pies that have been left for me there. For I am here to bless this household with Christmas cheer.
Open that sack and I'll shoot.
Very well. What should I do instead?
Take a seat while I figure that out. Who are you working for?
I should be described as self-employed.
Is that so?
Oh, for the last 200 years or so, at least.
I have little patience for whimsy.
Dear lady, I shall answer any question you might have truthfully and in full.
Right. What were you about to do when I turned the light on?
Drink the tot of whiskey, eat a tasty mince pie, reach into my sack to see if I have a present for the stocking, say a simple Christmas blessing on the household, and then up the chimney onto the next house.
You see. According to the 1881 census, there were 105,626 households here in Kent alone. So you must work with great rapidity.
I've got a system.
Well, I'm sorry to say you shall be delayed until you've answered all my questions. Now, why are you here tonight?
Christmas Eve. I should think that would be obvious.
Did you come on the trail of the Caralynn gem?
The Caralynn what? No, as I've said, this was a prescribed stop. Speaking of which, there are many more like it on my route.
Sit down!
Are you honestly threatening to shoot Father Christmas?
If he is Father Christmas, a bullet would just pass through his incorporeal form, would it not?
I don't know. No one's ever tried to shoot me before. Very well.
What is your real name?
I told you.
I see. What was it before Father Christmas?
Oh, that's going back a ways. Father Winter, most often. Occasionally Father Frost.
Going back to...
I'm very old. I forget how much. I remember when the Vikings would come over. Did I come over with them? It was a long time ago, and not a very pleasant time either.
So you've been spreading a carpet of toys and sweets at the feet of children for centuries.
No, dear lady. The presents are an innovation from my Dutch cousin Santa Claus. Recently given a particular boost by the American newspapers.
Typical of the colonials. Adding crass commercialism to an indeterminate mythological stew.
There is little harm in encouraging the spirit of generosity at Christmas. Although, unlike my American cousin, I give few presents, and there is so little I can give to those who need it the most.
Such as...
Not everyone in this land enjoys your financial benefits.
Is this your justification for an attempted theft?
Despite my annual efforts, there are still so many more poor children than there are rich ones. Good poor children are certainly more deserving than bad rich ones, and yet look at how the gifts are distributed.
I'm surprised by your lack of red to your costume, for clearly your politics runs towards sinisternism.
Red, blue, green, or brown, it matters not. We speak here today not politics, but the more intriguing matter of human spirit, which comes in a variety of colors.
Very poetic. Now, how did you get into this house?
It is, unlikely that you would believe it.
By a miniature sled and 8 tiny reindeer.
No, dear lady, that, again, my American cousin.
Then I will assume you jimmied open a door or a window.
I have no need. I came down through the chimney from the roof.
And how did you get onto the roof?
No, something between a wish and a jump,
Teleportation.
if you like,
Then why don't you simply teleport out of here?
because I am enjoying this conversation, Katherine.
And I am to assume you know my name because it's on some list
A list?
of children who misbehave.
Why would I keep a list like that?
To determine who gets a gift and who doesn't.
That's not based on whether they're bad or good,
Well, what is it based on then?
on whether or not they and their parents believe in me.
I don't recall ever believing in you.
No, really. I could have sworn that you, Madeline Aurora Brass, née Devere, are on the record as having believed in me in the years 1839 through 1840.
That is incorrect.
It is.
I certainly didn't believe in you by 1840.
I know why you were angry at me.
I wasn't angry. I didn't believe in you in the slightest. A magical elf who comes in the night to bring good children gifts. What kind of lie is that to foist upon a child?
Some things are true, though we cannot prove them through scientific query. Father Christmas is true, whether or not you believe in him. And though it is a tragedy in this world that every child receives a present, there is no time more likely to manifest itself. It's a season of mercy and generosity than Christmas.
Parents give presents.
But you know why? Because they believe. Father Christmas is a belief passed down between children and those who love them. I know why you were angry.
Ridiculous.
You were angry at me because the year before, your older brother got a present that you had wanted, and he scarcely cared.
Enough of this.
The Davenant and Masculine Magic Set, with no less than
127 illusions and experiments for the budding conjurer.
And I would have given it to you too, except
Why didn't you then?
your parents had bought it for your brother instead.
He scarcely touched it.
What a shame. The wrong present at Christmas.
Why did they give it to him and not me?
Because they thought he was the clever one and couldn't see that you were.
Clever. I was a prodigy.
You were. You are. Your brain is near identical. You speak 14 languages and read a dozen more. Your inborn analytical engine can deduce a murderer's identity from a lost button or a grain of sand in a shoe. There are times at which your intellect makes you seem a member of a different species. And yet, you must remember this. This is your species. You are human. And you make mistakes, as did your parents.
Parents? parents didn't know me.
Not knowing does not mean not knowing.
For me, it did. Couldn't they see how much I yearned for that conjuring kit? All I have ever wanted is to know things that other people do not.
And you do.
Now I do. After I fled those dull people who somehow miraculously produced a phenomenon like myself, then I learned how to live. I can't blame them for not knowing what I am, but was it too much to ask for Father Christmas to know and see me?
I do. And I do. Happy Christmas, Madeline.
Mother? Me? You? Me? God? Hosted.
Hello. Happy Christmas. Oh, the star's still there. It is. No luck then? No.
Yes!
Yes?
I fell asleep and had a dream. I think.
You dream.
On occasion. I must go now and think. Sleep. Sleep first, I think.
Shall I keep an eye on that?
Well, probably not. Perhaps. Certainly. Oh, I don't know.
Hi, Miss.
Yes, we.
Yeah. Oh, Aunt. Lady Ashford.
We were just setting up for breakfast. Do you think Ralph would join us?
Oh, she's still sleeping, and I thought it was provident to continue to allow her to do so.
Madam, I believe it is time to be alerted the local constabulary about the missing gem.
Oh, let's wait till Pal goes awakes.
Yes,
Yeah, she's quite good at this sort of thing.
this sort of thing.
Journalists.
Forgive me, miss, but how would a German school teacher have any experience with jewel heists?
Oh, you'd be surprised. The Teutonic mind is often drawn to solving crimes and puzzles.
Very good, madam. Well, I must head to the kitchen now to see how cook is doing the kippers.
Now, what was all that about the star of last night?
Oh, Mother was trying to set a lure to try to catch our thief.
It didn't work.
Well, decidedly not.
Still asleep.
Positively comatose. And if at all possible, I'd like to clear up this mystery before she's awake. Last night she seemed, well, overtaxed.
Well, I do hope that you can solve this mystery, my dear. It's put quite a crimp in Cynthia's engagement.
No, I can imagine. My dear cousin seemed quite upset.
Oh, she's besotted with Wayne. Poor thing, she does tend to romanticize things.
So she might take having her engagement present stolen by a disappearing burglar as an ill omen.
Yes, she might.
Dear Aunt, can you imagine why anyone might want to steal the sapphire?
Well, because it's worth a lot of money.
Yes, but none of the people in which it was stolen are particularly hard up, are they?
Oh, I'm sorry to tell you, my dear, but we are. We are flat out busted. Oh, your late uncle was a fool with finances, and he left us with considerable debt. And it was our hope that Sir Wayne was going to set the date. That was to be our salvation, and oh Mother. I was so happy when she had you and your brother because I thought, now Madeline will understand the importance of family.
Oh, she understands utility at any rate.
Oh, that's not the same thing.
Well, her dear aunt, it may be. My mother is in general devoid of what she calls sentiment, but that does not mean she lacks for emotion, nor even a form of affection. From a very early age, my mother impressed upon me that if I was to accept her guidance and training, she would ensure that I would become an exceptional human being. The countless hours we spent in games of deduction and drills of memory retention, and the apprenticeship with reformed rogues to learn skills of disguise, deception, and lock-picking.
That sounds a joyous childhood.
Oh, I loved it! Its many challenges were our play. My mother is quite possibly the world's greatest detective. How better to show me love than encouragement to follow in her footsteps?
Well, that is one way of seeing it, and you have grown into a lovely young woman with an independent and formidable intellect.
Thank you, dear aunt. Now, let me use that intellect to try to catch our thief. Now, what can you tell me of trustworthiness of servants?
Well, I've never had any trouble with them, and they all are devoted to Tompkins as far as I can see.
And he is devoted to you.
Oh, I hope so. I have no idea what I would do without him.
Might I arrange to speak with him?
Oh, yes, of course. Anyone else?
Well, everyone else in time.
Do you suspect everyone?
Mother does. And if we don't catch the culprit before she's awake, she will no doubt interrogate everyone much more aggressively than myself. Do not worry, dear aunt. We will find the thief and with luck the gem. My cousin would never forgive me if I did not clear the path to my nuptials.
Speaking of which, where are you going, my dear?
I'm returning to my room, Mother.
Your diet?
No, other reasons.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have time to hear them.
But I would be more than happy to.
You look darling as a blonde, cousin.
Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Now, why are you returning to your room, apart from your general dislike of rashers, sausages, eggs, fried toast, porridge, black pudding, and other nourishing dishes of a proper English breakfast?
Oh, well, there's that. But, no, I found some of the company there this morning to be somewhat disagreeable.
Oh, who might that be?
Nobody, I don't know. Perhaps I'm the one who's being disagreeable.
Cynthia, might I ask you some questions regarding the events of last night?
All right.
What do you remember about that brief period of time when the lights went out?
Not much, really. Mother spoke, said something about the generator. Tompkins said something, I believe, and then I heard the slamming of Wayne's box, the window was opened, and the lights came back on.
Wayne was roughly here, and you were standing there so.
I don't recall being this close. I think Wayne was farther back.
I don't think so.
And as you say,
If you were this close to the box,
yes.
to reach the sapphire, the thief would almost inevitably have to cross you in order to do so. Was there any moment in which you were aware of this?
I think so. Yes. Someone wearing a coat, I think.
A coat?
Yes, a heavy coat. So they must have come from outside.
All right. And anything else, perhaps a sound or a smell?
Oh, I don't believe so, no.
Oh, well, it's not much, but it's something, I suppose. I think the next person I should speak to is Wayne.
No, I wouldn't know where he is.
Oh, he wasn't at breakfast.
I don't think so.
Morning, Frau. If you want any bacon and toast, you'd best step in. I'm afraid Percy's making something of a pig of himself.
Excuse me.
Good morning, Herr Lovely. How are you?
All right, I suppose.
You suppose?
For a chap that's lost his family inheritance. Now, no disrespect to your godmother, but can we contact the police?
Yes, that will come soon. Might I ask you some questions before I get here?
What for?
It could be some sort of rehearsal of what you were saying, sir.
I suppose that makes sense.
Herr Company, when the lights went out, did you hear or sense anything at the moment that the gem was stolen?
Let me think. The lights went out. Lady Ashford said something about the generator, and I believe so did Tompkins. Yeah, and then the next thing I found was the case slamming shut. It caught the tip of my device next to me, distracted me from all other thoughts.
Your answer box, yes. Oh, yeah. And please to kneel where you were last night. And please to kneel where you were last night. And Cynthia was roughly here.
She was somewhat farther away.
So you open the box.
Like this.
And why did you present it in this manner?
According to my family tradition, the luck to my own side to keep the luck. He said that like a bride on her wedding. He said that like a bride on her wedding. I was first to believe that everyone outside town, and everyone outside town, they engaged with each other the day.
No, that tradition didn't work out, so that tradition didn't work out, so that didn't. So what now?
Well,
now?
it's right.
No, not that. No, not that. What about you and
Like
Cynthia?
marriage, I suppose. Like marriage. I'm afraid this will theft. This puts everything into quite a confusion.
Well, if you're sure you should find the culprit.
Me?
Please, you're not.
Amateur detective, are you? You're not some sort of amateur detective, are you?
That is what we must
I tried to talk to her at breakfast, but she avoided me.
But try again, young man. Persevere, there's the greatest weapon in the world now.
Miss Hay,
Yeah,
Baron said you wished to speak to me.
you may go.
Sorry.
Must you go?
Where?
My beloved Cynthia.
I suppose I must.
Yes.
How may I assist?
I have some questions for you, Tompkins, regarding the household staff.
I apologize if you've been inconvenienced in any way, miss, but what with the guests and now the robbery, we've been at 6s and 7s below stairs.
And by we, you mean?
Mabel the maid, Thomas the good boy cook, and myself.
And how long have you known each of your staff?
I've known Mabel for 7 years now. Thomas's father was our groundskeeper back when we could afford one, so I've known him since infancy, and Cook she came to us 2 years ago last month.
And you can speak to the more character each.
I can't.
Tompkins, Lady Ashford confided in me that she is in financial distress.
This is true.
Well, has she been able to pay you and your staff with any regularity?
She has not, but she has our loyalty regardless, and we make do.
But judging from your years, you more than make do.
Cook is a genius with recipes and with stocking the larder.
If I were to seek out one of your staff for an interview, where might I find them?
Mabel has already begun turning the upstairs rooms, except for Frau Geffard, of course. Thomas is just cleaning up from breakfast, and Cook just stepped out with the family to church and won't be back until dinner.
Very well. Pleased to see me to talk to your good boy.
Of course. Follow me, please.
There you are.
Just going out, actually.
Cynthia, what is it? Why are you avoiding me?
I'm not.
You are.
I am. Oh, Wayne, how could you?
What?
Why not simply call off the engagement? Why this ridiculous farce?
Farce?
The sapphire. We both know there was no mysterious thief.
What do you mean?
I was standing right next to the box, Wayne. If anyone had moved to take the sapphire, I would have felt ahead then. But I felt nothing. And all I heard was the box slamming shut, so why did you do it? Why did you steal your own treasure?
Me? Ridiculous. What would be the point of that?
Because you really don't want to marry me.
Then why would I have brought the treasure to you in the first place?
I don't. But I do know that I thought we do know that must be the dark. I don't have known when we passed
But
the
it
dark.
wasn't.
I must have been you.
stolen the sapphire.
You were the only person close to
Why?
Cynthia,
Why?
I no fool.
Why would I?
Cynthia Ashford's not who they once were.
I can see the house is constantly creaking from neglect. The art is gone from your walls. There's sign of water damage.
The art is gone from your walls.
And Percy and I nearly roasted last night by the radiator. Percy and I were nearly roasted last night by the radiator.
Darling, by the feet.
It's not too late. Perhaps it's not too late when you saw the house. You've seen an impulsive note when you saw the
Stone sapphire. My stone sapphire. The process of giving me.
Yes! Yes!
You are a horrid, hateful man. And I never want to see you again.
Oh, perhaps I'm wrong! Cynthia? Yes, I'm sure I was wrong!
And unless your wood boy and your maid were plotting together, they are essentially each other's alibis. But regarding the cook,
Who isn't here?
you mentioned she had a recent romantic attachment.
That's right.
Have you met her, Svein?
Oh, yes, he seems quite trustworthy.
That is good to know.
Now, I know, madam, that we should wait until your guardian, Frau Getha, awakens to the local.
Yeah, I will go and awaken her presently just as soon as I finish a short informational session with the person of that class.
The person?
Brooklyn West lost book down on the feast of Stephen, and the snow was round about, deep and crisp and even.
Happy Christmas. Thank you. Caroline, hi. We missed you at breakfast.
Oh, that is lovely to hear.
You know I love Christmas morning breakfast. Always such a clean, crisp feel to the day, you know? Everyone seems a bit happier, better looking on Christmas morning. You look positively angelic, dear Heidi.
Oh, thank you, Sir Percy.
So, how are you? And where's your lovely godmother? It's Christmas. Who chooses to sleep late on such a bright and promising day?
She was quite tired from our travels, and my godmother is not much of one for Christmas.
She dislikes the materialism.
Post-materialism is the only thing she agrees with.
Sorry?
She is a staunch atheist, and any celebrations of her religious nature are an annoyance to her.
That's a shame.
It is somewhat. But other families exchange gifts and share meals. We exchange socio-economic theories and unwrap arguments to set us all to our individual rules.
Not exactly Polly and Jolly.
You could say that.
But then why is she your godmother?
My parents possess the king's survivability. Now, Sir Percy.
Yes, Parham.
Tell me more about her.
Me? Not much to tell, you know. Since college I've been larking about some, trying to decide on what sort of profession might build some of that, what do you call it? Everyone's going on about.
Character?
Yes, that's the stuff. Last year I went on an expedition with my great uncle Tad to the Shetland Islands to try life as an explorer. But I managed to lose some valuable equipment overboard. Plus, I didn't like their ponies. So disturbingly small. Sorry. Well, then I tried the city, but I haven't a head for figures. I thought about the army. Some of those uniforms are just the right sort for me. And then those what chappies are supposed to be up at cock's crow. It's one of the lovely things about Mayfair is nobody keeps chickens. I can sleep as late as I want to.
So what do you currently do for work?
Occasionally I watch other people do it. Good thing I'm rich. Far and away the best sort of work for a man like me.
Sir Percy. When did Sir Caralynn give you the box?
Oh, when? I believe it was when I got into the railway carriage with him at Charing Cross.
And what did the professor do?
Keep an eye on this box for me, won't you, Percy, he said. Righto, I said, so I sat it on my lap while he took a snooze.
We slept.
Yes, for about an hour. Conked right out. I tell you, I envy him something rotten. If only I could sleep as easily as he can. It would be so enjoyable to while away a few hours here and there. Regardless of how hard I try, I rarely manage to get more than 9 hours a night. And that's only by forcing myself not to get out of bed before 11.
So there was an hour when you sat with the box unobserved.
Yes, that's right.
What did you do?
Well, I sat there, and I thought.
About Mars.
It's funny, I can't remember. I hope it wasn't particularly profound. I have something of a fear that I'll come across some great truth one of these days. Then before I can commit its brilliance, the page will just go right out of my head.
Has that ever happened to you before?
I don't believe so. Of course it may have, and I forgot!
So you sat there and thought.
Yes, about something. And I watched the scenery. Hadn't anything to read, you see.
How was the scenery?
Great, mostly. Fields, trees, river too, some snow.
So Percy, did you at any time during this open the box and look inside?
Why would I do that?
Curiosity.
Afraid I'm not a particularly curious person.
No.
As a child, I remember I was absolutely awful at hide and seek. Whenever I was it, I would lose interest halfway through counting to 100, just sort of wander off by myself.
So you didn't know about the gym?
I suppose I had something. The Caralynns know my family for ages, you see. Wayne and I have been the best chums since childhood. Me providing the charm and him providing the smart. Dreadfully nice people, the Caralynns. Not without their hardships.
Oh, such as?
Their father was a bit eccentric. A painter. You know, always laughing about the pigments and the like. Sadly, he invested heavily in the silver fields of Bolivia. After the bust, he took ill and died after a brief time. When he did, the care of the family finances fell to their Uncle Simon.
And what's he like?
Sweet old duffer. Always puttering about in his workshop, head full of ideas. Jack of all trades and master of none, as they say. I think they say that, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Capital! Anyhow, pleasant enough, fellow. Don't take it too on a horse with me, though. Lost 20 quid following his last lead. Uncle Simon never planned to be the sort of man to step into his brother's shoes, but he's done the best he can to hold on to the house and the loans.
So the Caralynns have money problems.
I suppose so. Gracious, I should do something about that. Wasn't it such a brute I've become? Well, at the station, I let him buy me a 4 cream tea, and for all I know, he did so with the last year's shilling in his pocket.
Is he that broke?
I've no idea. What are you saying he was?
No.
I wonder whatever popped that idea into my head. Fraulein Heidi, enough with the questions. It's absolutely shocking this gem's been stolen, but surely the police shall catch the culprit. Why don't you and I enjoy this crisp morning with a wintry sleigh ride, or perhaps a glass or two of mulled wine before a roaring fire?
Oh, thank you, Sir Percy, but... No. Until the gem is recovered, it seems scarcely suitable to be so carefree.
Well, in that case, I hope the police get her soon. How I would love to see this brow unclouded with concern.
Oh no, Gwendolyn, not him. He's still a suspect. Around careful. Is it possible? Yes! Yes, it's all still frozen. Oh, how glorious! I'm going up for a brief walk outside to re-examine evidence and clear my head. Did you interview the cook?
She's not here.
Oh, it's a missing puzzle piece. Well, obtain access to her bedroom and tell me what you find there, along with a full report on all of your interrogations. Good morning, Sir Percy.
Excuse me, didn't she used to have a German accent?
She is an English teacher. You know, sometimes the language just takes over.
What about that slate?
What is all this about?
Oh, I suspect Mother is about to give a drawing room speech.
Well, how fortunate. Not only is our drawing room available, it is also the cheeriest room in the house.
Well, fortunately, it's not the warmest.
Oh, my apologies, Sir Percy. It can get a little stuffy in the Chinese room.
With the wet wallpaper, it did feel rather like being inside a kiln.
Oh, there you are, Tom. It doesn't travel with the radiator in the Chinese room. Oh, and do wear your gloves.
Yes, and perhaps other protective gear, like goggles. Or blast apron.
Yes, Ben.
and how you get to the roof from the ground, and a little about conjuring of all things.
It sounds rather jolly.
Yes, I suppose it was. It was also deeply informative, for in our conversation were several clues which helped me to determine the answer to this extremely puzzling case.
I'm sorry, but are you saying that Father Christmas has helped you to determine who the thief is?
I am.
Frau Gaffer, don't you think it's time we contact the police at this point?
No, Sir Caralynn, and while I appreciate your correct pronunciation of my name, a feat almost unique in this household, I am not Frau Gaffer, but a detective in the employ of Lady Ashford.
Who had a conversation with Father Christmas.
Nonsense. It was a dream. Thank God. There is much current philosophizing regarding where dreams come from. Certain continental alienists, like Dr. Charcot, have posited what they call a theory of the unconscious mind. Now, my mind is a supremely well-organized space, and as a rule, it has little space for the unconscious. However, I have been suffering the effects of physical exhaustion.
Brought on from a long train ride from Austria.
Nonsense. Brought on by being hunted by a very dangerous man who wants to make sure we're dead. Really, my dear, there's no need for further descendants.
All right, Mother.
Whoa! Wait! They are not German!
And indeed, I initially suspected that our culprit might have been connected with our adversary, but this was mere sleep-deprived delusion. Now, let us review the circumstances of our case. Sir Caralynn was given by his uncle the cashmere sapphire, held in a special box, and instructed to open it only in the presence of his fiancée. After dinner last night, he followed these instructions, which were interrupted by a blackout, the theft of the gem, and the apparent escape of the criminal via the window to the ground floor below. Now, it might appear that the manner of the theft is obvious. However, there are certain factors which strain credulity. How could one thief, viewing the display of the gem from some distance, turn out the lights to this room, make his way in the dark to where the gem was held, and then evade capture by leaping out the window all in the space of a few seconds?
Perhaps it was a trained cat.
No, Sir Percy.
But they can see in the dark.
Regardless of your ingenious suggestion, a trained cat would be fundamentally unreliable. But I did believe that our thief must have had an accomplice, someone who was in the room at the time of the theft. Now, the most obvious culprit, of course, would be Sir Caralynn himself, who could have reached into the box, handed the gem to his accomplice, and then slammed the lid shut.
It wasn't Wayne. It was me. I took the gem, and I handed it off to my accomplice standing over there.
She's lying! It was me. I stole the gem to cover for gambling debts.
But then where was your accomplice standing?
No. Neither of these young people had anything to do with this theft. Why steal a gift that you're about to give? Or to receive? Why delay a nuptial date when it is something you both so clearly desire?
Because...
That question is rhetorical, Sir Percy.
Carry on.
But what of Sir Percy? Leaving aside motive, as the carrier of the box, he would have had ample opportunity to steal the gem prior to his arrival here.
Yes, oodles of time, I imagine.
From his manner, he's a complete idiot. A stereotypical example of a British inbred lordling. Yet, are we so sure that Percy's witless demeanor does not conceal a brilliant criminal mind working with an accomplice to steal a gem from right in front of us?
Fascinating, does it?
No.
No.
For while you're clearly not half as dumb as you appear, Sir Percy, you are no criminal.
Thank you.
You have a kind heart, and appear to be an upstanding individual, and you're endearingly good-looking.
Thank you.
Lady Ashford was standing here. Too many bodies to navigate in the dark, and no likely motive, much like two young people. Her dearest wish was for the wedding date to be set. Our worthy Bella Tompkins stood here, near the door. Little time to cross the room, and even more obstacles between him and the gem. What's more, he had the cooking to think about.
The cooking?
Gwendolyn,
Quit using our real names now.
tell us what you found when I had you examine the cook's room.
That room is locked.
Was locked. I picked it. There was no sign of cook, nor that anyone had been living there for several months.
I suspect, Constance, that the reason your cuisine has improved so much in the last 3 months is that in that time your butler has also been your cook.
What?
really are a gifted chef. However, I have seen remnants of flour on your trousers just below where the apron would hang, and you even now smell faintly and not unpleasantly of mixed spices. Those involved in making Christmas pudding, I believe.
No, I can explain.
Of course, but not until I've explained the even greater mystery of the missing gem. Now, with all of you lacking in either motive or opportunity or both, and leaving myself and my daughter aside.
And why should we do that?
Because I'm a detective. And this is my most worthy assistant and pupil. Well, then that leaves.
Hello?
No one. So you might think. Yet remarkably enough, this crime, which I originally thought was committed by 2 thieves, was committed by only 1.
Father Christmas?
Yes!
Really?
Mother, I think you need to lie down.
When I was speaking with Father Christmas, he told me that he enters houses by magically leaping from the ground to the roof and down the chimney. Now, imagine what the footprints in the snow he would leave. If we assume he lifts and descends with no discernible pressure, something between a wish and a jump, then the footprints he would leave in the snow would be entirely even, would they not?
Much like the footprints outside the window.
But if the thief jumped from the window to the ground,
The nearest print would be deeper from the impact of the jump.
The footprints were meant to make us feel that our thief had run from the house out into the woods, when in reality they were a false tree. Left by our thief earlier, walking backwards from the woods to beneath the window above.
And then walking on the ground under the eaves to the coal cellar.
Right, precisely.
I suppose he could, but to what purpose? He still would have to turn out the lights, steal the gem in the darkness, and open the window.
Correction, you only have to do 2 of these things.
Steal the gem and open the window?
I'm getting there, Sir Percy. Wait, will you please look at the box? When I was a child, I coveted a gift that my brother was given instead, which was a magic set, which promised 127 illusions. I remember the first one that I saw, which was a little wooden red ball, which the conjurer, in this case my inexpert brother, would take from a cup of vase. He'd pass the ball for us to examine, and then place it in his waistcoat pocket. Then he'd cover the lid with its vase with its lid, say sim solabim or some other nonsensical incantation, and then remove the lid to reveal the ball back in its vase.
I saw that done once. You see, I'm quite sure that's a trick.
Well done, Percy.
Now, so Katherine, when your uncle gave you this box, did he also give you instructions on how and when to open it?
He just kept repeating the family tradition of it being bad luck for anyone to see it before they intended.
I see. And did he also encourage you to rehearse your presentation?
He did. He said the important thing was to make sure it was no longer or shorter than a minute. A woman loves punctuality above all things in a man, he said, and urged me to time it as best I could.
Your uncle has some very odd ideas.
Hush. Dear Constance. Ladies and gentlemen, observe the accomplice of a very clever thief. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh! The Caralynn inheritance.
Box must be.
The sapphire is restored!
No, I'm afraid not, Sir Caralynn. Well, I'm no expert. I believe it's likely that that gem is no more real than your elegant stick pin. Isn't that right, Father Christmas?
Uncle Simon?
Hello, dear boy.
Where did you come from?
The coal cellar, I imagine.
Back and forth between there and the wine cellar, yes.
I'm afraid, dear lady, this is not Father Christmas. It's instead Wayne's Uncle Simon.
The gentleman from the railway station who stole our carriage. Why were you masquerading as Father Christmas?
I wasn't.
He wasn't. In my dream, my dear, this gentleman stepped into the role of Father Christmas, in part because I was still angry with him for stealing our cab, and I have certain unresolved feelings towards Father Christmas as well.
Young lady, I do apologize, but it was imperative that I get there before any of you if possible. When I heard your mother give the cabby the address, I knew I had to get that cab.
So you've been here since yesterday?
I have, Wayne. I'm so sorry, but I had no other choice.
No other choice.
No other choice. Because he doesn't have the cashmere sapphire.
What?
It's true. Dear boy, when your father was in his final illness, I asked him what a sapphire was. For I knew it would eventually be my task to give you your legacy. He told me he had hidden it away someplace safe, and that it was hidden by a trick of the light. I didn't know what he meant, but I assumed that it would eventually turn up. But I was the executor of the estate, and I had so many other pressing affairs, and nowhere in his personal papers and his will was there any mention of it.
And in the meantime, the value of the estate was dwindling away.
Regrettably, I do have a talent for bad investments, which may be why your father was unwilling, even on his deathbed, to tell me the location of the sapphire in case I squandered your inheritance or something. I kept hoping for things to turn around, or for the sapphire to turn up, or for his hint about the trick of the light to make some kind of sense. When it didn't, and you came to tell me that you had decided to sympathize with Cynthia, I knew I could delay no longer.
So you designed this quite elegant trick box, and a plan to steal a gem that was already lost.
Well, there would at least be the insurance money to set the two of them up with, since a room full of witnesses could attest to its thefts. Dear nephew, I am so sorry.
Oh, great. Is it true? Do you also have nothing?
It seems so, said Caralynn. Nothing except for my prospects. Do you think? Could I ask?
Yes.
Would it be enough? Could you marry me without the sapphire?
Of course I would.
Well, that's quite a relief. Question, Wayne. You said that your Battleground sticker was given to you by your father, is that correct?
Yes.
What were the circumstances of it?
He gave it to me the Christmas after I'd turned 18. The value of this trinket is in the love I have for you, he said. But perhaps you'll learn to treasure it anyhow. It's very pretty, but it's not a real emerald.
Might I see it? No, not a real emerald. And here? Your father was a painter, correct?
You dabbled in it, yes.
The trick of the light, what I was thinking. Some sort of varnish.
Yellow, I suppose.
Yes.
Well done, my darling daughter.
Daughter!
May I, Mother?
You may.
Assembled guests, may I present to you its blue luster hidden beneath a yellow varnish, the rediscovered cashmere sapphire.
Oh, gracious!
Extraordinary.
So you mean we're not ruined?
Dear boy, if you are willing to part with your inheritance, the sale from that gem would set both of you up for life.
And have enough left over to take care of you too, I hope.
After all my duplicity.
Oh, family, Uncle.
And you meant no harm.
Thank you, dear nephew.
So, all of our mysteries are now solved.
All except one. Tompkins,
Madam,
what happened to Cook?
regrettably, she left a short while ago over a salary dispute, so until I could find a suitable replacement, I stepped into the role.
Why?
Because, dear Constance, for the same reason that he stayed on as your butler. The man clearly adores you.
You do?
I do. And I rather enjoy cooking, to be honest. Constance, though I cannot offer you a sapphire or any other precious gem, unlike your late lamented husband, I have made quite sound investments with my earnings over my many years of service. And though I am only a butler, I am also a man, and one who can offer you not just loyalty and love, but financial security. And so, as a man, I ask you, Constance Ashford, will you marry me?
Oh, well, I think I shall. Double wedding.
And perhaps,
Though it is sweet of you to get caught up in euphoria.
fair enough.
However, you did mention that sleigh ride.
Yes, does anyone have access to a sleigh? I will send Thomas into the village. And now, I propose champagne in the dining room.
Okay, champagne first, then sleigh.
Oh, thank you, dear cousin. Oh, you have saved me from spinster.
Oh, you are most welcome, dear cousin.
Dear sister, you are quite remarkable. What can I ever do to repay your kindness?
Dearest Constance, think nothing of it. However, there is one small favour you could bestow upon me.
Oh, what is it?
Please tell me what is in that stocking over the hearth.
There's something in it.
Yes.
Gracious, how did this get in here? Is there a note?
There is not.
Well then, finders keepers.
Let's open the carrier.
Well, aren't you going to open it?
All right.
Does that mean that...
A remarkable coincidence. No doubt left in there by some errant child years ago.
Eminently rational explanation, Mother.
Thank you.
If somewhat far-fetched. Why, after all this elaborate work, did you abandon our disguises?
My dear, as the young Sir Coverley said, we are family. I shall swear them all to a vow of silence before we depart, and I am sure they were all right.
I would make sure you explain it very thoroughly to Sir Percy.
Perhaps all at once.
You know, I'm surprised at you.
Why?
Oh, to speak of family as people to be trusted almost smacks of sentiment.
My dear, I miss your father and your brother terribly. With you, they are my true family, and I look forward to our reunion. However, today we are also with family. And for all of the ridiculous drama and secrets that being with one's family involves, for my money, there is no better